more, and we will conclude with the sort of geopolitical piece that Yeow took us to. So just one or two stats about the strength of the relationship already. And you'll probably say, I know all this. I bet you don't know each bit of it. So, first of all, how many people in the West Midlands are who are considered to be part of the Chinese community? 13,000. Big community. And did you know that Birmingham has more Mandarin speakers than any other city outside London? No, you did not. Did you know that a third of our overseas students, and they spend an enormous amount of money, are from China? So if you look at the overseas students across all of the universities in the West Midlands, a third of them are from China. What you will know is that 3 of our football clubs, 2 Premiership clubs, so that's avoided a mistake, 2 Championship clubs and 1 Premiership club in the Wolves are owned by the Chinese. And one of the most extraordinary things I've done recently is when I was out in China in November 2019, just before we were all grounded, I went to the Wolves souvenir shop in a shopping mall in Shanghai as the guest of Fosun. You see there the relationship very close. But the heart of tonight is trade and investment. And as Yeow said, China is an incredibly important investor in the West Midlands, the 4th largest in terms of foreign direct investment coming into the West Midlands. And you'll know the roll call of Chinese businesses that there are here. You might not know that 6 of our 30 fastest growing businesses are Chinese owned. So there's an incredible commitment to the success of this region from Chinese business already. But it's not enough, and we've got to look to do more. And if you look at our export stats, that shows it really very clearly. Did you know China is the 3rd biggest market for us? 2.2 billion of exports, and the West Midlands is the top region in terms of UK performance for exports. But it's fallen away since before the pandemic, quite markedly, particularly because our exports of cars, machinery has fallen, so there's definitely an opportunity to build that back up. And if you said to me, which sector do I think has the best opportunity for us? All of our leadership around net zero, clean manufacturing, that is an area where genuinely we have got things that the Chinese definitely want. So huge opportunity. There's also an opportunity in terms of capital investment, not just businesses investing in themselves, but particularly Hong Kong capital buying up, investing in housing schemes, residential schemes, and I'm prepared to predict that now the market is open again, we will see a number of Hong Kong housing investments on the back of the vibrancy of the market here. And Marcus, we're relying on you to bring 1 or 2 in. And of course, we've got great informal relationships as well. If you think of the sister city relationships that Coventry, Birmingham, Solihull, Sandwell have all established, very, very important. Birmingham, Guangzhou, and Solihull with Guangzhou, if I pronounce that correctly. I'll be corrected by somebody, I'm sure. So you see all those relationships there. But I want just to get us to think about what Yeow has talked about. There's huge trade potential. And this is the bit where I just sort of offer this not from a script, but from what I think personally. I want to ask you to think about what is on the news every night at the moment. Mr. Putin on the borders of Ukraine. What has that got to do with what we're celebrating tonight? And you might think not a lot. I would argue it has probably got a huge amount to do with what we're celebrating tonight. Putin knows that he's got a friendship pact with China, and I would argue that our, to use Yeow's words, hostile environment has in a sense encouraged that relationship to come about. And my message to our government would be, of course there are issues with the Chinese Communist Party, we all know that, and nobody must excuse that. And we see the issues around human rights, but a mature relationship holds somebody close and calls out failures. It does not push people apart and possibly push them into the hands of people whose incentives we see very clearly revealed from Moscow. So my own view is that it is very, very important that we do find a way of accommodating China, find a way of working with them, That does not mean apologising for their failings, but it means that you do things in an assertive way, you're confident of your ground, and actually build mutual understanding by that holding close. And Bill, ours might be a small part in doing that, but I do think we can set an example in terms of holding close, working on those community relations, and hopefully be an example to the rest of the country in terms of doing that in a way which works for greater understanding, which lies behind tolerance and inclusivity, values I personally hold very, very dear. So Bill, thank you for what you've done. Yeah, thank you for your words, and I hope we can all work together in that positive spirit. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Very, very thought-provoking and lovely to listen to, as always. Thanks.
And I hope I was on time.
You were. Which is what I was in starting.